Hi there, this is Dawn. I'm back. I've had a week off. Well, I haven't had a week off stitching, just had a week off videoing. I hope you didn't miss me too much, and I hope you're all doing really well. I've had a busy week. I've been busy doing thread painting and getting myself ready to add some little bugs, but I'll talk about that in a second. So I've done yep, I finished this one and it's stitched on now. So I did some needle turn applique to get it on, and it's got quite a nice texture to it. It's fluffier than some of the other bits that I've added, so I'm looking forward to adding more. I did the one with the daffodils on it as well in the same way, and then when I laid them out on this piece, I thought, oh, it probably needs a third one. So yes, I'm still thread painting. Takes ages. Oh, sorry. Yep, so I'm doing this one, which is the daisies, and I'll add that as well. This bit of leaf is chopped off and that bit, but I'll only thread paint the 3 daisies and those leaves. I won't do those other little bits. So yeah, I've just got it, managing it in the hoop. Cool. But then I've also thread painted some baubles for my Christmas quilt. So this fabric I used, if you watched my Just Because Christmas quilt, you will probably recognise these baubles, but they'll go on my Christmas quilt when I get around to doing that. But that's, all happening. It was a busy weekend. We had my friend Willie and her hubby came Friday, Saturday, stayed till Sunday, so that was lovely. Lovely girls and boys weekend together doing our thing. My friend Margaret came as well, and we all went off to the craft show that was local, that we only have here once a year, called Craft Alive. Not as big as the Melbourne Quilt and Craft show, but still a nice mix of things that of course we don't have access to unless we go to Melbourne, or some Melbourne shops. So it was really nice to see what was out there. Nothing sort of probably new under the sun mostly, but gave us a chance to get a few bits and bobs. And as a lovely surprise, our lovely friend Colette, who's you will have seen hopefully, and if you haven't, you'll have to go check her out, from CC Davis Studio on YouTube. She has a YouTube channel, and she lives just a bit more than an hour away from here, so we'd been in communication, and she said, oh, I might come too. So she came for the day, and yeah, that was really lovely. Us 4 girls went off to the craft show and did that, left the boys home playing their own car games, and we went out for lunch, and yeah, it was a really nice girly day. So yep, that was good fun. And while I've been sitting and chatting, I've been doing thread painting. One of the things that I got from the show, I didn't even think to take a video. Sorry, I just don't know where my head was, but I just I totally forgot about it. It was very different venue to the Melbourne ones or the bigger craft ones. It's it's sort of 15 minutes through farmland till we get to the big tin shed at Lardner Park, which is it's sort of like I used to think it was a racetrack, but it's not. It's kind of like showgrounds. Like, there's a convention centre there. There's the big shed for exhibitions. They have big farm shows where the big farm machinery are on show. So the grounds are huge, but it's just grass, green grass fields. and then the tin shed that, well, I call it a tin shed. Last year when Margaret and I went, it poured with rain and the noise was so loud we couldn't even hear ourselves talking. It was funny. But yeah, it's plenty big enough. Anyway, one of the first stalls that I went to was Can Do Books, and I was particularly looking for the Japanese embroidery sewing books and found this one, so I was quite happy about that. It is written in English, so that's good, but she does beautiful little fine embroidery based on nature. So I'm going to do some bees. She's got, lots of different things going on in the book. There's little butterflies, there's ants, a little silhouette of a little echidna, or it's probably not an echidna, hedgehog. I don't know what they have in Japan. More little bees. Some little flying bug, another little bee. Oops, there you are, without the glare. Lots of bees on this page. They're all pretty much the same though. An ant. I like the little ant trail. Pussycat. Butterflies, lots of butterflies. Yeah, more bees, strawberries, berries, a little snail, I think. So I thought it was quite good. A little black crow sitting on hat. We've got so many black crows at the minute. We've got like, I don't know, what do you call them, a coven? Yeah, there's 4 of them, a family of them, I think, all hanging around here. Grasshopper down the bottom and a little bird up on the wire here. And the lady next door to us has got along her fence line some pencil pines, those long skinny pines, and they're in there, and we think they're getting the nuts and things. I don't know. A little Christmas beetle, not berry, Christmas beetle. More little ants. Anyway, look, a page of butterflies, and there's a page of birds. So yeah, I thought I might get a little bird shape idea and put a bird on my Christmas quilt, a robin or a cardinal or something. The wreath is really nice. I really like the wreath, but I don't think I've got room for a wreath anywhere. Oh, I'll have a look at that Christmas quilt. I haven't looked at that one again. Anyway, a little bit of embroidery information, then some pages of how she did the threads that she used, the DMC colours, like stitches she used, straight stitch, French knots, satin stitch, gives you those ideas. So nice little book to have. There was about 3, but this is the one that I like the most. So yeah, that's me. Embroidered botanicals. That could be another one of hers there. Can Do Books was this one. Do you need that information? There, this one. This information here. Oh, is that clear enough? Embroidered flowers, Kazuko Aoki. Cool. I'm going to do bees here. I've got one drawn out here. I've got one drawn out here. That's what I'm planning to do. In a minute, I'll finish showing you the other goodies that I bought. I bought another thimble because I lost one of these. I had 2 of these and they're my favourite. And I've not been able to find one ever since. They're a Clover brand, but everywhere I've looked, they've not had this type. But they had this type, which is a silicone one with the metal at the top. I've seen Karen from Railway Cottage studio use one, and that looks quite good. I found a lady with some fabric. She had some Australian birds, kookaburras, but the little blue fairy wrens I thought quite nice, and sort of a nice size really. Would probably work quite well on here. I've got a lot of birds on this quilt, so I probably don't need them. I found some more of this Tula pink design with the fluoro flowers. You know me and my fluoro. So that's on the to-do list. And the thing that I was interested in was this bag, and I thought I'm going to make it out of my Japanese fabrics that I bought. And this is sort of like a, you know, like a handbag size. 8.5 inches high, 5.5 wide. Yeah, no, it's not huge. Let me just see. Looked bigger than that in the shop, to be quite honest. 8.5 high. Five and a half opening. It looked bigger than that. I reckon that's got to be wrong. That says 5.5 inches. 2.5 inches deep. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm going to do that. I got all the hardware for it. It's sort of like got a felt, got zipper pulls, got those zippers that you can make your own size. That's the other thing that I bought. Yeah, I was fairly restrained actually, to be quite honest. But that's okay. I don't think I bought anything else. Nothing else that I can remember. Oh, some iron cleaner for my iron. You know, those crazy things that you don't see any other time. Good. All right. Well, on to this, because we've already had another prompt, and so now I'm going to be a week behind myself. So I thought I better get on with it and get cracking. So this is me. My only problem with this is that I'm going to have to be careful that I don't go through to the other side. With this I did it with the needle turn applique, but I'm not going to do that with these. I'm going to be careful. I thought I'd show you this gold thread too before we move on. That's the thread that I used in here for all of this needle turn. It's fantastic. I was surprised, you know, with you know, stranded cotton, it shreds in the needle, and this one lasted. It did a really good job. It's still a DMC one, but it's this one, Diamond Grande. It's fantastic. There, is that better? It didn't shred in the eye of the needle. It was fantastic. Very good. Very good for doing lots of embroidery with it. So I am going to follow along with what how Kazuko did hers, as far as how she did her stitching. So I will look at this book while I'm going along, find one that I think will work for me. Sometimes she seems to have done satin stitch that way, and also satin stitch that way. Yeah, it looks like that's how she does it. pouring here, pouring with rain, and it's cold. Silly, silly weather. Yeah. Right, they all seem to be done in the same way. Just getting a bit of a hint here. These are just lazy daisies, and then these are just bands that are put on. Straight stitch for the legs, straight stitch for the antenna. Do I need to get him up a bit closer for you? There. Cool. Goodo. And what I've decided to do is a mixture of threads. So I'm going to have one strand of this one and one strand of that one, just because I just felt like I didn't really want this yellow colour, and I didn't want this gold colour. I kind of wanted a combination of both. So that's where I'm headed. And I thought, I don't know, I think I'm only going to do 2 strands. I think 2 is enough, but if it's not, then I'll do 4. All right. Oh, I've mixed this with something else once before. Mixed it with a paler one. I'll take that one. Get rid of that one. All right, start again. Oh, had I realised this one was already cut, I wouldn't have. Is it cut? Yes, there. I wouldn't have cut the yellow one first. And that's all right. Because they're only little, I didn't think they needed to be, the thread needed to be too thick. It may be able to cope with 4 strands. Let's do his head first and then make a decision after that. So the way that I'm going to have to do this is start by burying the thread in, oh, his head is dark. Let's start with this one. So I need to bury the thread because I'm not going to be able to do a knot. So this is just be careful. So I haven't gone all the way through to the back, because I'm just not pulling it tight till I get that end covered. I think maybe it could cope with 4. Let me just see. It's going to take a little bit to cover it. Yeah, 2 might be all right. It just needs a bit of, yeah, it's just going to take a bit of covering the white fabric. So once the knot was buried and I'd gone over it a few times, it's going to stay there now. Well, no, there was no knot. It was, you know, it was just the thread. Pouring rain. Pouring rain out there. Silly weather. All right. Okay, go back over here now. And so the two colours just gives a nice bit of variation, I think, in there. But certainly this is, you know, something that's achievable because I've got, you know, this is the tablecloth. I've got the wadding in between, and then I've got the other tablecloth on the back, and I'm keeping my hand underneath so that I can feel if the needle goes through. But it's quite easy to scoop it through the top layer, quite easy. Gosh, I nearly did his head in the yellow. Nearly. So yeah, when I do the other bees, I'm going to do much the same. And then as far as adding a bird to the Christmas runner, the Christmas table runner, I just haven't quite got in my head yet how I want that to go. So I'm going to, when I finish this one, I'm going to have a look at the fabric. I've got some bird print that is like a red cardinal, a Christmas bird print. I'll have a look and see whether that's going to work, but I'm happy to have a look and do with you guys. All right, come down now to the body and go back up to the middle here somewhere and put another stitch in because I need to get more thread. So yeah, I'm going to finish that. Going to finish that off there. Just put that extra little stitch in the middle there, just as a little short stitch. It'll be covered by whatever I use to, you know, when I go over the body. Cool. All right. Quite like that variegated with the two colours. I think that looks good. All right, I'll put you on stop and I'll come back very soon. Okay, I'm back. I've added my bees because this is my this is the nature one. I forgot to mention that right at the start of this video. So I've added these bumblebees from the book that I showed you, and I've added them here as well. So there's little ones, little bumblebees here. And I'll add a third one when I've completed the last of the thread painting, but I'm still working on this one here. It's taken me, you know, that little bit longer, but I'm doing 10 other things at the same time. And now I'm just working on my Christmas one, my Christmas table runner. Sorry, right, somewhere to plonk that. So I've added the baubles. I've added them separately in 3 different places. I added one over here and another one over here, and they go in different directions because this is going on a table. There's not really, you know, it's not directional like the quilt is. So, and now for the next bit of nature. So that was the thread painted ones. They're actually quite hard to sew on. Being thick with the wool and the gold, it ended up being, they end up standing, you know, away from the fabric. They're quite chunky, but you know, that's all right. They just took a little bit longer to stitch on. And now for the nature part of this, I decided that I was going to do Christmas beetles. We get these at Christmas time. Well, you know, as soon as the summer really hits. And in particular, you know, they're, you know, they look nasty. They don't hurt you. They're just horrible when because these little claw things hang on and they grab a hold of your clothes. And we've got an outdoor covered in veranda, you know, just out the side here. If we leave a light on, it's just, the whole veranda is just filled with them, and they make a funny clicking sound. And, you know, they can get on their backs and, you know, spin around for a bit. But anyway, I decided that I would add Christmas beetles to my Christmas tablecloth as my nod to nature. And where I first saw, where I saw them that inspired me to add them was in this book again. This embroidered wildflowers, and there's this little green beetle here reminded me of it. She uses metallic thread when she's doing it, and it's pretty much coming up slowly so I can stay in focus. There we go. It's pretty much what a Christmas beetle looks like. So I'm going to do that. I've sorted out some threads. I'm going to use one plain DMC thread, and then I'm going to add some of these threads that are, you know, have a metallic base, the colour. They're a metallic thread. They're not particularly friendly to use on their own because they'll shred. So yep, this one's thicker than the rest, but it wasn't quite the right green. It's Kreinik is the brand. I think it's a German one. A polyester metallic. Yep, just says metallics. But I have it in this thin one, which I think is a better colour, because it's got it. This one's just kind of a bit plain green. I was thinking about that one as well, but I think I'm going to go with this one, and this one. I think that's the decision I've made. They're threads that I've used when I've been doing, when I was much more into counted cross stitch. So they were just, you added them to your DMC threads. I'm just going to swoosh that a bit more there. Let me see. Okay, so just with my fade out pen, I'm going to add one in here, but I'm going to do more than one. So I'm just copying. I'm not going to trace or anything. I'm just going to copy this one here. We can get big ones, but we can also get quite small ones. Yeah, they're just funny little creatures. But, you know, we call them Christmas beetles. I don't really know why they're called Christmas beetles, but we get them in the summertime, and it's, you know, Christmas in the summertime here. All right. But I think with the metallic, it'll make it look like it. I don't know if I want a thick leg, but maybe I'll give it a try. There you go. You can't see what I'm doing. Maybe you can now. Yeah, if you make the mistake of going out there at night when they're buzzing around, you bring them inside. They come in on your clothing because they hang on their little funny little claw feet. Like I said, pretty harmless. Just a bit prehistoric, really, looking. I don't really want them. They get in your hair as well, you know, and that's the bit that I don't like much. I like the feel of it. But then once you come inside and they get attracted to the light, and so then they take off, and I think with the metallic thread, it's probably bigger than what they really are, but that's all right. That won't matter. That will be fine. It'll be fine. Let me see. I don't want something that's too thick. Not that one. This one. Oh, I don't know why I thought, oh, here. That's the one I was using when I was doing the bees. Cool. All right, I'm going to do them all in the same thread. I'm not going to change thread. Some I saw will have, you know, the coloured sort of wing coats and brownish legs and things, but others are all the same colour, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use one of everything. So I'm going to use one of the green. I'm going to use one strand of this copper one. Oh yeah, see that just springs. That's going to be not the friendliest one to stitch with, but I think the green in the DMC will help keep it under control, because it's like this one's got a mind of its own. It's springing in all directions. If I just cut it to be the same size. There we go. And that's just, you know, it's just going to spring apart. It's I don't know that one's a DMC one. It's much finer, but I don't know what brand it is. Could be anything. Lost its label long ago, and now one of these fine ones. This is just like a filament, but I'm hoping the colour together is all going to look good. And I'll get enough colour variation. I don't know that I really want to make, I was just sort of thinking, is the beetle too big? Then I was just looking at it going, oh gosh, it's like this giant one, a giant Christmas beetle. But they're very common and they're pretty. You know, they look Christmassy because they're all metallic and shiny, and even though they've got those ugly funny claws, they do look nice. Kids always collect them. Probably always have and always will, because they're quite, you know, once they come in and they start hanging around where the light is, they're quiet. They don't go flying all around the place. I'm going to change my glasses. There we go. And because I'm not worrying about this, because this is for me and it's a tablecloth, and you won't, table centre, you won't see the back. I'm not worrying about how much of my stitching is on the back. So I'll start with a knot on the back, was really what I was trying to say to you. And so I'm just going to fill it in a satin stitch. I'm not going to worry about trying to save on thread and things, because I think if I do it this way, can you see what I'm doing? I'll get a neater finish. So I'm just going from black line to black line. Well, all I have to do is, when I'm ironing away the pen, to be careful, this filament is nylon and so it will melt. So I just need to be careful of that. Well, I think these three colours together are going to look quite good actually. They're hard to maintain an even tension, especially this filament one. It almost stretches. So yep, so hopefully I'm going to get this loaded up today. It's Tuesday and I want to get cracking on the next prompt, which is hearts. Hopefully I'll get that done this week as well. But I've got another project in my pipeline, so not stitching, something completely different. All right, I'm going to keep going with that, and then what I'll do is I'll come back and show you the last of it, but pretty much that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep stitching this in this satin stitch way. I'll do straight stitches for the legs and the antenna. But even though it's 3, it's still going to take a little while to get done. Cool. All right, you can see how I'm going about that. When I'm almost done, I'll come back and share the last of it with you. And yeah, hopefully I think it's looking quite good. You can see that shine in there. Hopefully you can see it sparkling a little bit. Cool. All right, I'll be back soon. Well, my little Christmas beetles are done. I've done 3 actually, and yeah, they've got a good bit of colour going on. Hope my family don't think they're real and they're creeping across the Christmas tablecloth. There's another little one here and another little one over there. They do look a bit weird, but anyway, I did do a couple of extra bits on this. A little red robin and some pine cones just to add to the nature theme. Yeah, so that's my Christmas one. Cool. All right, well, I think I'm done for this prompt, and I'll catch you again very soon in my next prompt. Little Christmas nature beetles. Okie doke. Talk to you soon. Bye.